Hello everyone, my name is Tsira, I am a Hollow Knight speedrunner, and here with me is Palm, also an incredibly talented Hollow Knight speedrunner. And today I will be showcasing all skills. This is one of the most popular categories in Hollow Knight. In this category, we pretty much go through the entire game, collecting all of the skills before we end off with the final boss.
Yep. All skills is a pretty cool category. It's also a very beginner-friendly category, so if you haven't played Hollow Knight before and you're looking to get into speedrunning it, all skills is definitely a good starting point.
Oh yeah.
There's both the 1221 run, so it's on patch 1221 of course, which Tsira will be playing today, and there is the current patch run, which are slightly different, both good categories to get into, both very easy and there's a lot of support for it. So I think we can get started.
One of the best things about all skills is the fact that it's so heavy on movement. So throughout the game, as we get more abilities, our movement tech gets a lot more fun. But yeah, so the timer will start when the screen fades to black. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I understand now. Yeah, so I'm gonna need, I'm sorry for the technicality, I need you to screen share on Discord, Tsira, or I will be watching the stream and be confused.
Completely my bad. I will start over. I am incredibly sorry about that. That was my bad.
No, we were both told. Setup percent is hard.
Okay, so I need to reset my timer. Okay, I am incredibly sorry about that.
That's alright. This is why we start 5 minutes early, because we imagine something will go wrong.
Exactly. Okay, so, take 2. Timer will be starting soon. A little bit about the patch that we are running on. 1221 is an older patch of the game. It is now available on Steam, though, if in the beta section. But the reason why we run on 1221 is for a couple reasons. The biggest one is that lever skips exist. Lever skips are using abilities that elongate our nail, which is our attack, so that we can hit levers through doors, opening them far before we're supposed to. Another cool speed tech on this patch is called inventory drops. We can open our inventory midair, and that will completely uncap our fall speed, allowing us to drop at significantly faster speeds than we would otherwise, and it also cancels out our hard fall, which I unfortunately just demonstrated for you there.
Yeah, and all skills is a particular case because every category will benefit from these things, so from inventory dropping and from lever skips. For the most part, it doesn't change the route too much. There are a little bit of annoyances if you can't lever skip, and obviously not being able to inventory drop midair will lose you a few seconds here and there. Probably close to, like, I don't know, 20... I'd estimate like 20 seconds over the run, but my point being, all skills, it's a very big route change that we can do because of lever skips. And you'll see this later on, but there's an ability called Shade Soul, which is the upgrade of your Fireball spell in Hollow Knight, that we need because it's a skill, and we really like to get it early, because if we can get it early, we can do a lot more damage, we can fight things a lot faster, game faster, etc. And we can get it early by doing a lever skip, and this is kind of the crux of the early game of all skills. And I know I am getting a little bit ahead of myself as it goes through the first room in Crossroads, but I just want to explain why the CP run's a little different.
Yeah, so there, unfortunately, I did get RNG hit. That drop is complete RNG whether you get hit once, twice, or not at all. And I only got hit once, so you know what? We take those. And there I actually used a spike that fell from the ceiling to kill one of those aspids, so that I wouldn't have to kill it.
Yep, the Aspid Arena, another small difference between 1221 and current patch. It is much easier to get that double kill being the spike hitting both Aspids, on current patch. 1221 is actually a very precise timing, it's deceptively precise, so for the most part, just getting one Aspid with that spike and having to kill the other with Pogos is completely fine, 100% taking this.
Alright, so here I'm going to do a little skip that I like to call Statue Pogo Skip. Um, where I situate myself to pogo off of that Vengefly instead of having to pogo off of a background object. To be able to beat one of those enemies to get through that room faster.
And hitting the tick-tick was entirely intentional.
Oh yes, 100%
Yes.
intentional, definitely not messing up.
I also saw, it's a very minute thing, but it's another one of those like stupid little differences between 1, 2, 2, 1. You can hit the enemy, we call it Jenny, the little jumping enemy that goes over you, approaching this false night room into the ceiling, and it will like bug your game, make it so you can't jump full height anymore on the jump that you're doing. It ruins you by walking into a ledge.
Yep.
But it's more or less not relevant. It's a very small time thing.
I
What's
mean,
happening right
once
now is
once we know that it exists, we can account for it. But yeah, so now I was fighting the False Knight. I just used a dev-intended skip actually to completely bypass the last 2 phases of the boss plus the killing animation. You do get a Geo chest. Geo is the game's currency, as well as an item for beating the boss. But with our current route, we do not need either of those.
Yeah, it is interesting. All skills used to kill False Knight, because you would get the Geo, and that early Geo is very big for the all skills route. Again, relating to stuff that we'll talk about down the line, getting Dash Flash. But it was rerouted, I say recently, a little over a year ago now, so that we can just get past False Knight. It makes this split, Vengeful Spirit, much, much faster, and only adds a little bit of time later for Geo collection.
Yep. So the ability the ability that we just picked up is called Vengeful Spirit. And the thing about Vengeful Spirit is it's our ranged weapon. The way that we're able to use it is by using one cast of soul. You can see next to my health the little orb that's currently full. And the soul there, it takes 9 hits to collect a full soul. Out. And we need to use it for healing as well as spells. So throughout the game, it's usually figuring out a good balance of healing and using spells when needed.
Yep, it also makes the game pretty nice to run as a new runner, I think, because you can just forego some of that soul. Obviously, you can see that Tsira is collecting it by hitting enemies. So you can just take a little more time, hit a few more enemies.
Enemies to get energy.
Use a few fireballs or Vengeful Spirits, same difference. And basically you can make your run a lot safer without costing too much time, which I think really helps to get into Hollow Knight when you're not doing all these optimal strats and completely min-maxing every enemy. So Tsira gets one more hit of soul there. You'll see the reason coming up here. This Balder, you saw the first Balder would take 4 fireballs to kill. This just takes 1 because we move backwards in something 1 2 2 1 magic.
Yep, pretty much.
The reason that we did need more soul is for this fireball skip, which is very tight. So nice job on that. That's
Thank
1
you.
out of 3 for green pets so far. In these
That is
fireballs.
possibly the first time I've gotten it in a run, actually, so...
So there are 2 more of those fireball skips to give a little bit of a dive into what a fireball skip is. When you shoot a fireball, you get knocked back a little bit in the air, opposite of the direction you shoot it, and it'll reset your falling speed, so you'll start falling back at 0 velocity again. So those 2 things combined give us just enough distance to make 3 distinct jumps in Green Path that we couldn't otherwise. This is the second. This is a big one,
Whoop.
and unfortunately, the turnaround is very tight. It is hard to get, and then maybe a little early there.
So
you saw
luckily,
a late in the early turnaround.
Luckily, we do have a backup here. We can pogo off of the squid. If that squid weren't here, it would be an exponential time loss, because we'd have to go around the entire area.
Yep, it is very much a big sequence break, probably the first not dev-intended sequence break of the run. Saves probably a little under a minute, so a lot of time for the very beginning of a run, considering we're only 5 or 6 minutes in. That was another fireball skip you saw right there. Fortunately, all three of these, the first one and the two that you just saw Tsira do now, have backups. You got to see two of those backups there. So again, even if you are a newer runner, it's very easy to get into this because there's backups for a lot of things, thankfully.
So the reason I'm picking up so much soul here is because I'm about to fight a Moss Knight over here. We do have a strat to be able to do a quick kill. As you saw, I was able to get a double hit with my fireball, killing it with one last cast of soul, which saves me time in this next room when it comes to soul collection. And the biggest thing about fireball is that we're going to do our best to get double hits wherever we can. That is the biggest way that we can save time with our fireball.
Yep, and it's kind of a precursor, doing it with the Moss Knight there, to some later fights in the game. The double there is quite nice. Obviously, you can see it here. Didn't hit that double. There was one more fireball to do an extra hit. This is a bad cycle for these two Moss Knights,
I got possibly the worst RNG with the amount of time I had to wait there.
Yeah, so this is one of the big changes of the Geo Red I was mentioning earlier. Like we said, we don't kill False Knight, so we don't get that 200 Geo chest. Fortunately, we can kill these guys instead, and you saw, I think 169 was the number you actually picked up, but
nice.
Close to the realm of 200 Geo to make up for the Geo that we don't get from the fight.
Yeah, so we're about to enter the first boss fight that we actually fight. This lovely fellow is called Hornet, and I will be doing my best to showcase the stagger lock for you guys today.
Yeah, so Hornet takes 5 hits to stagger, as you saw there. You can bully her in the corner. There are some occasions where you can get doubles. The Hornet fight is surprisingly complex for kind of the little fighting there is. You can see Tsira is actually almost done with this fight.
Alright, there we go. Kept her in a good stagger lock, and that sped up the fight considerably. So the ability we're picking up here is our dash ability. After this, you'll rarely see me walking anywhere, except if it's just a little bit to line myself up for a dash. Dashing is the first movement ability we get, other than Fireball Skip, which is slightly movement. And
yes,
this opens up a lot of possibilities throughout the game.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, the way that Hollow Knight is structured, it is a Metroidvania, so there are a lot of options later on in the game. Your first 3 abilities, the game very much intends to be Fireball, Dash, and Claw. And it's quite nice that Dash is the second ability you'll get, because it is also the ability that makes us go the fastest. So it's very convenient for us to just pick it up in the intended order.
So this room is actually one of my favorites in the game, with a double inventory drop over there, one of which is over acid, followed by just some fun movement over here.
What you'll notice also about this run, if you've seen other Hollow Knight runs, with the exception of probably low percent, is a lot of these start very similar. We have a little bit of different geo collection. We may or may not kill False Knight, but generally we almost always go from VS to Dash to Claw, and we'll even be following any percent for a little bit longer here with the All Skills route. But where All Skills really shines, and we did mention this earlier, is we do need, of course, all the skills, which includes all of the movement items. And it's really fun, especially later on, to be half an hour, 40 minutes in, or even a little more, and be able to use C-Dash, Dash, Wings, the whole 9 yards to really move around in fun ways.
Oh yeah, so over here is Explosion Pogo. It is one of the harder skips in the game. Unfortunately, I was just a little bit too short with that nail.
Yeah, that was really close. There are quite a few setups.
Okay.
The same height.
I am seeing the problem.
There are a
there
few
we
setups
go.
Here and there we go. We're going to correct over it. That is, of course, one of them, that one being pretty popular, actually. But if you look on the Discord, there's like a million different ways to do that trick. And up here is Mantis Pogo. Nice, nice. And we Pogo twice up that second Mantis. Not always required, but definitely there. I think dashing would have been too early, so I think that was a really nice correction. To do the Mantis Pogo, not have to go around and not have to lose something in the order of 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, so after here we save quit again. We use the save quit mechanic actually to pretty much bench warp back to our most recent save point. It is a really fun mechanic that we use throughout the run, throughout most speedruns actually, just to maneuver our way around the world a lot faster.
Yep, and All Skill shows it off pretty well. A little bit later on in the run, during the entire peak section, it's probably the most notorious bench warp in any of the main categories.
Oh yeah.
So 374 Geo is fine here. Geo is something to watch. Early game Geo is not terribly tight, but it is pretty tight. We will need to have 800 Geo by the time we get to Dash Slash. That is the number to look out for. But fortunately, we do have Gorgeous Husk coming up a little later. And Gorgeous Husk is going to help us a lot with a huge Geo deposit.
So here I am killing that enemy which our community belovedly named Jennifer to get its soul. So that I can do a quick kill against this boss.
Yep, nice Grozmother quick kill. 3 fireballs, 6 nail hits. The more notorious part of Grozmother, of course, being what's happening here, which is called the cleanup.
There's so much RNG here. Anything
Yep.
can go wrong.
And
it went wrong.
The first fireball was actually very good. You got like almost all of them, and then the second fireball. Everyone just went above you, unfortunately.
Yeah, wasn't much I could do there. So now we're going to be picking up our first charm. This charm is the only one that's worth it in pretty much every speedrun. What it does is it exponentially increases our damage for all our spells, as well as increasing the size of our spell's hitbox. So now I'm actually going to be setting up for our next big sequence break called a Shade Skip, to allow me to get into a late game area significantly before I should be able to.
Yeah, and this is a fun skip to watch too. If you do it yourself, it's not the most difficult thing to perform. It does require a little precision, and Tsira got it, which is very nice, jumping off the wall, pogoing the shade to get the height, and then jumping back toward the wall, and I guess we're going for Blue Lake Walkling storage. Nicely done.
Alright, so this is a minor glitch. This category is called NMG, no major glitches. So Walkling storage is a minor glitch, mostly because of the fact that it is really easy to get anywhere. In this particular instance, we have a specific setup that we use to be able to get it off of a random wall. So
Yeah, Go ahead.
there I just did a little bit of soul collection in preparation for the next room where I need to collect Geo.
Walking storage in game. Aw, unbelievable.
Nah, I don't go for
Terrible
that
running.
one. There aren't any visual cues.
Yeah, Walkling storage has been kind of a hot topic in the past, but the idea behind it is you get very close to a wall, or while a wall is closing, you go against it. So the game kind of thinks you're on a wall and kind of doesn't think you're on a wall, and using that, you can just continue dashing as if you are on a wall. And a nice cleanup there, by the way, for the Geo getting a double.
Thank you. So this bench is en route. We need it to save quit back to multiple times, actually. But now we're going to be murdering Gorgeous Husk for the Geo.
Yep, it's kind of a funny little route here that we do. We start going towards City. If you can read Chinese, that text says City of Tears. Just to start getting this Geo, and then we immediately will quit out back to that bench. The reason we're doing this... Oh, it's unfortunate, the fireball.
Was I facing the wrong way, or did it get eaten by the wall?
I think you're facing right. I'm not 100% though. The wall can just eat fireballs anyway if it's hungry.
Yep.
But the reason we're doing this is for Gorgeous Husk Geo. You see that's a lot of Geo 419. So we're on the order of like 740 now. I think 738. So we're only going to need about 60 more Geo.
Oh yeah, we are super comfy in terms of Geo right now.
So we do still need a little bit more. Like Tsira said, we are very comfy because there is intended Geo collection coming up in Kingdom's Edge, which is a very late game area that we're going into very early for the sole purpose of getting Dash Slash to do, like we've been mentioning, those lever skips that will sequence break and get us more damage early.
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more soul collection here. The things that we're going to be killing are called hoppers. It is aptly named as they hop, and yeah, hop, see? Good. There are also great hoppers, which are big, and they're scary, so we don't kill them.
Yes.
They also take a while to kill, but that's probably unrelated. It's basically just a fear factor.
I mean, it could be both.
So
and
well
you just saw my fireball get eaten by the wall, as we mentioned.
Actually scale.
Oh, I'm actually good on Geo. Okay, I am.
Yeah, you're very comfy on Geo here. You had quite a bit going into Edge.
Yeah.
So 2 HP's a little bit scary here. Tsira's fairly experienced.
I am
so
not worried at all. I know these cycles.
I won't jinx you then.
See?
But yeah, those are the last few great hoppers, and we're getting to dash them.
Yep. Fortunately, they are incredibly consistent, and with any amount of practice, you can get fairly comfortable with them pretty quickly.
Consider not practicing and complaining that they hate you every time.
Yeah, but that's suboptimal.
So we do get dash slash here. You saw a little bench right outside Shio's hut. We cannot take that bench. Is this Shio or Oro?
Shio is the paint master.
Yeah, this is Oro or something.
This is Oro, yes.
Yeah.
We will visit Mato and Shio later on in the run, actually.
And the reason we don't take that bench, to follow up really quick, is just so we can bench warp, as Tsira was saying. Back to here. Save quitting again, the game will remember where are we, where the last bench we sat on is, and we will maintain the dash slash ability, which is quite nice.
So now I'm making my way to Watcher's Spire. This area actually has one of the skips that I find hardest, a lever skip. To do it optimally, you need to do it, it's a pretty tight lever skip, and you need to do it from behind foreground. And I got bullied. There was nothing I could do to avoid that, and just for marathon safety, I am going to take this bench.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bench to take for safety. Generally in a run, we don't need to take that bench, but you can see it doesn't lose that much time. And yeah, if we do end up dying, deaths work kind of like save quitting. We will go back to the most recent bench we sat on, so we'll just go back to there as opposed to going all the way back to King Station.
So in that room I made sure to collect a lot of soul, because the room I'm about to go into, the next area, Soul Sanctum, has some pretty annoying enemies. And being at full soul gives me a little bit of leeway to feel more comfortable, and it doesn't lose that much time.
Yep, Sanctum definitely one of the most even annoying areas of the run. Dash slash helps a little bit, and you'll see why in just a second here. But before we go to Sanctum proper, we are gonna use dash slash in a different way. We're gonna go up here, make this little tight jump around the ledge. Nice, second try. And we're gonna run into this room and get Shade Soul. The reason that current patch is different, A, it doesn't have lever skips in the first place, but B, these rooms are actually separated. So this room was deemed too big by Team Cherry, so Shade Soul and that gate are actually in different rooms on the current patch. So you can't do that dash slash skip.
So now that we've picked up Shade Soul, we are ready to go into Sanctum proper. Those enemies, Soul Twisters, which you just saw, are some of the most annoying enemies in the game. They can teleport into your dash, they can snipe you, they can just really mess up your day. So we just lever skip past pretty much all of them.
Yep, we're going to do this fight here. We don't need to, there is a lever skip, so we're not hard required to do this, but we do want the Geo, and you can see how quickly Shade Soul with Shaman just tears through these enemies.
So this is one of the only spell twisters we have to encounter in this category.
This is very annoying.
I got a little bit frustrating RNG, but luckily I didn't take damage.
Yep, and dash slash here, this room is aptly called Hell Room, and fortunately we won't see why, because we don't have to go down and around. We can just dash slash through that door and go straight on to the boss of this area, the Soulmaster.
So the Soulmaster is an interesting boss. If I can get the quick kill, I will beat it in 8-10 seconds, but the quick kill is more or less RNG dependent. So, here's for hoping.
Yep, we do have to see the correct attacks to this. We'll do that Shade Soul to the right intentionally. This is a good pattern for it, and you can get the double there.
Yep.
The Shade Soul to the right at the beginning was to get those soul, just to have a little more soul for this fight, and I can't even finish explaining it before the fight.
Alright, so that's phase 1, but the fight is not over just yet.
Get our little deceptive end of fight, and then we'll see he's still alive. We go down here, we're going to start phase 2. There are quite a few strategies for phase 2. This being probably the most common, just doing these up slashes. It is possible to hit him on the way down. It's a little risky, as you see there, and you don't get your health refilled after this fight. So Marathon plus safety plus he's being annoying. 3 HP is perfectly fine to end this on.
Yep, and because base spells fill up our soul meter, I have enough soul to heal up on 4 health, which is very comfortable for this area. And now we are picking up Desolate Dive. This is the downward version of our spell. Not only does it have a huge shockwave, it also lets us break through floors, and most importantly, it gives us iframes, which we abuse optimally later on in the run.
Yeah, I was actually watching the, what was it, like hitless any radiance, and when you do these like high-level fights, it's incredible just how much you can abuse D-Dark or Desolate Dive, either of the dive spells, to just use those invincibility frames and do whatever you want in that time.
Oh yeah. Being able to literally sit inside a boss and just hit it is pretty epic.
Yep, and it actually is one of the differences between 1.2.1 and CP as well. If you spam diving in this patch, which you will often see Tsira do for bosses, you will have invincibility frames through the whole thing. You'll be able to reset your invincibility frames before the original frames go out. Current patch is not the case. If you start diving again, it will automatically make you vulnerable until the dive animation is complete. Just a bit of an annoyance that was added for some reason. Save the grub.
Of course, we gotta save the grubs.
There are 2 savable grubs actually in this run. Savable meaning, I mean, you can save all 46 if you wanted to technically, but savable meaning it does not lose much time or any time to save them. And we did do an all-skills tournament fairly recently, about a year ago. And one of the metrics that we kept track of was how many grubs each runner saved, which is a very important metric to know.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And you can see the geo count here, exactly 300 actually.
Oh, this is very comfortable actually. So this is nice because I need exactly 300 geo for the next stag station. And this means that I don't need to worry about collection anymore. After we purchase King Station, Geo becomes almost a second thought. The only way for Geo to become a risk to the run, if like not having enough, is if a person were to die twice in a row and therefore lose all of their Geo.
Yep, and even then, if it's early enough, it's still actually recoverable, just because Watcher Knight's chest gives you so much geo, and we just don't need that much. You see a look down there? Unfortunately, it didn't work. I don't actually know why.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, when the toll goes down, you normally can just look down with the knight, which will make the bell appear faster. It didn't work in that scenario, though. There will be other chances to see it in action, though.
Yep, so, the next area we're going to go into is Crystal Peaks. We need to pick up 2 abilities in this area. This area is honestly one of my favorites, just because of the movement and the cycles, but if I were to get off cycle, there would be a high risk of taking damage, and once you get off cycle, it can be incredibly difficult to get back on.
Yeah, Crystal Peaks is a very movement-heavy area in general, in any run. It's especially important in all skills, though, because you're doing almost all, not as much as 1-6, but almost all of it, in that you have to get Crystal Heart, and then we have to go and get D-Dark, and then go all the way back for Dream Nail. It's also important because we will not be healing or benching anywhere in here. You saw Tsira take 1 damage and already heal it off. Health is very, very important here. We have to maintain that bench that we sat in Watcher's Spire. That is going to be where we save quit back to. So we can't bench anywhere. We can't take any safety. We have to just survive. No,
but it's fine. We are veteran runners. I am, for the most part, not worried. The Dark Room is actually more lenient on this patch because one enemy, the Hunters, don't shoot their projectiles nearly as fast. So there you saw I missed a jump, bonked my head, and reset the room, just for that extra security, so that I could go through the room without getting hit.
Yeah, again, like Tsira was mentioning earlier, very cycle-based Crystal Peaks. So just missing that 1 jump would really, like, even that would ruin the cycle. So we reset the room to reset the cycle. Unfortunate hit there, really close to sneaking past that laser, which is possible, but it is very tight.
I think my movement to the laser wasn't quite fast enough, else I would have been able to beat it.
A couple inventory drops here. I didn't actually know we hit that level.
Oh.
I don't even know if we did. I think you could be a crazy one.
So what I attempted to do was actually a minor glitch called /storage. Unfortunately, I messed it up, and with messing it up, I messed up my movement a bit.
Yeah, /storage is a very hard trick. It is possible to get, but to get it and have it actually save time is extremely tight, so no issue missing that for sure.
So there you just saw me do an underplat. Underplat is one of the best tricks in any speedrun of Hollow Knight. That area was very precise lasers, but there's very easy setups to be able to go through consistently. And now we've picked up our Crystal Dash ability. This is pretty much just our Super Dash. There's a little bit of a charge time, so whether or not it's optimal with the charge time really depends on how long we'll be C-dashing for.
Yep, and the most important part of the run is remembering not to quit out right after getting Crystal Dash like you would in pretty much any other category.
That's an 90% issue.
It's a TE issue too. Give me credit. I actually don't know if current patch does it for us guys. And this is the second grub we can save. Oh, that's a really good wall thing storage.
Thank you. So this is the Dark Room over here. There are multiple ways to go about it. The safe strat is to do Crystal Dash only. I've pretty much made my own version of going through the room at this point, with 1 Crystal Dash just for that extra safety.
Yeah, that was nice moving through the Dark Room too. A really clean end of peaks here. I guess I shouldn't say that before D-Dark.
I'm not done yet.
This
area is dangerous, to say the least, so hopefully Palm didn't curse me.
We are on 4 health.
That is true, but you know these Crystal Hunters plus these moving platforms can be something. Luckily, it wasn't an issue. Palm's curse did not take effect, and we can slide to the left. Nice. With dash storage of a different kind, where it preserves our momentum from the dash into the pickup, and the damaged tank warps us back to the respawn location, allowing us to move a lot quicker than we would be allowed to otherwise.
Now I can say it's a good end of peaks.
Yes, that was pretty good end of peaks, actually.
Yep, there's only one more thing we have to do here before we do save quit and bench warp back, that being Dream Nail. This is probably the easiest single split in the run. We enter this cutscene, mash a little bit, and then C-dash. There is one trick. I don't know if you're going for underplat.
I will.
Yeah. There is one
underplat is the single most important skip in the game. Well, double is there too, but...
so we'll see that at the end of the dream sequence.
So it's actually optimal to just fall off over here.
Yep, it's a little bit of kind of timer abuse. We haven't really talked about it because this is a marathon, but generally we do use a loadless timer, so a timer that will automatically remove the loads for us just to make it fair for everyone to run.
I believe we are using loadless, actually.
Yeah, you have it on the stream. I just remember it. This is the underplat. Nicely done. Crashing into that first one, dashing right under.
Alright, so this is our dream nail. Whether or not this is a skill is kind of contested within the community. But we need it to beat the game, so we get it anyway.
Yeah, all skills, we haven't exactly mentioned what that means, but it means all spells, all movement upgrades, and all nail arts for most purposes. It is argued whether or not Dream Nail, Dream Gate, and Awoken Dream Nail are skills. The reason that we kind of lean toward no is because if we considered Awoken Dream Nail a skill, the run just becomes very similar to True Ending, plus getting a couple extra things in the way. So to make the runs distinct, we like to just not consider Awoken Dream Nail.
Pretty much. So the main reason is we don't wanna.
I mean, true.
Okay.
Mentality.
So, coming up is what would be one of the hardest boss fights in the game, if not for the fact that we have D-Dark. D-Dark does such a huge amount of damage, coupled with the fact that it gives us iframes. I can literally sit inside the boss and just demolish it.
Yeah, this is what we recommend for people struggling with Watcher Knights in general in Hollow Knight. Maybe not speedruns, depending on the run, but you can see Tsira has iframes throughout all of this, just destroys that knight as well. Taking some damage here, maybe a little, a little more damage.
Just a bit. I am not handling these Watcher Knights as well as I should. Or at all. Okay.
Fortunately, we do have a pretty close backup. D-Dark does make this pretty safe. This should be... Is this the last night? Do you have one?
Yes.
This is the last night, yeah. Nice dodge. Just playing this last little bit pretty safe.
Yeah.
We'll finish it off.
Rather not die. Unfortunately, that was not my cleanest Watcher Knights fight. It kind of went sideways after the second or third night rolled away, and I didn't handle it as well as I could have.
But we get past the fight anyway. It's not that much of a time loss, just again, because of how quick it is just to kill the Watcher Knights, and we will come up here for our first streamer being Laureen.
So, this is Laureen the Watcher. The way that the game works, you need to kill 3 of these sleeping dreamers to be able to beat the game and access the final boss. 2 of them are guarded by bosses, 1 is guarded by some really difficult movement and enemies. But you'll see that one last.
Yep, so after this, we don't actually have all the movement skills yet. We need a couple more, those being Ismas and Monarch Wings. So Ismas you're meant to get by going into waterways. We need to get a simple key for that. Beating Dung Defender, after beating Dung Defender, hitting his lever, going up and around through quite a few rooms in right side waterways.
But that all takes time.
Yeah, we don't like slow, so we will be going for a spike tunnel skip. When people ask kind of what's the hardest part of all skills being a fairly beginner-friendly category for the most part, this is often what we'll tell them. These spike tunnel skips are hard, or these Isma skips as they're usually called, and there are 3 of them, so good luck.
Thank you. So here we just have to exit Watcher Spire first. One thing to note is that all of the Dreamers hard save us, so we can't just bench warp out. I am taking this bench just for a little bit of extra security.
Yep, actually the same bench we took for security earlier, just in a different way.
Yep. I am going to pick up some soul.
This was also for the all skills tournament a pretty big point of contention if we wanted to bench there. It does save time. It does lose time, but it does make it more secure if we do end up dying to these skips. And I will be quiet for a little bit as you attempt these.
Oh, mess up number 1. Mess up number 2. There we go.
Nice.
So I'm going to fireball there just because there's an enemy that likes to sometimes get in our way.
Nice.
And before this last skip, I will just heal for a little bit of extra security. Ah, there we go.
There we go.
Oh. If I mess up one more time, I will quit out just for that extra security. Yep. If I die here, I run the risk of losing all of my geo if I can't get my shade, which would spawn on the wrong side. And if that happens, it's run over.
Yeah, and this is largely for marathon safety. And these skips are hard. That last skip especially, it may just look like we have to jump off that last wall. It's not really the case. It's a pretty precise either dash neutral jump or just neutral jump. There's a few different setups for it, but none of them are trivial by any means.
So I usually go for the setup version where you do one neutral jump. The timing is very precise, and lately my visual cues have gotten in the way of my audio cues, which are more precise, which is why I've been having these issues. So first try spike tunnel over there. Nice. Easy peasy.
And it is nice to note here we do have extra soul, so we can heal a few times. Not that you'll need it.
Not that I'll need it.
Nice.
And there we go. It's funny how the second time around I get all of them. First try, just like that. Easy. Yeah. And we got our lovely friend the worm here to give us the early control. And just like that, we have Isma's tier. We can now go in acid safely without any concern.
Yep, so you'll see us going back through the acid. We don't have to do those ridiculous skips going back. The reason we're going back here and not just quitting out is we are going toward Monarch Wings, so the ability I mentioned a little bit earlier. We will have to fight a boss for that, but after that, that will be all of our movement abilities, and you'll get to see the full movement of the night.
So we got some really nice RNG there. If the game wanted to just be mean, it could have put any one of those enemies in the middle of our C-dash, and we would have taken damage there. So there I did another inventory drop over spikes before ending it just in time to dash onto safety. Just another little bit of speed tech there. We're about to pick up our Monarch Wings though. This ability will give us double jump and greatly increase the amount of maneuverability we have over our character. But before that, we have to go through some fun segments. Although it may look like these enemies are just complete RNG, we actually do have strats to get through most of them hitless.
Yep, these Monarchs can be painful. That's a really nice one to get hitless. This one you can generally get under, and we do. This one can be tough, and yeah, so the first 4 all hitless, only one more coming up here. Also strat to do this. A little bit tight, but very close. And still 4 HP is perfectly fine to go into Broken Vessel.
So I actually do have plenty of soul, so I will be healing up, especially since it's free heal over here while I wait for the boss to start. And yep. I want to start the fight with 2 casts of soul, just so that I can... oh, a little bit too early there. But just so I can start off with 2 fireballs, hopefully getting a double like that one.
Yep, the all skills fight is pretty safe. We have a lot of nice doubles that you're seeing here, and depending on the attacks, so this attack here, we can also do D-darts, which as we mentioned, did a lot of damage to Watchers, and will be no different for Broken Vessel.
And there we go. Just like that, the fight's over.
So Wings is right past here. We're going to be going and picking that up, and again, that'll be the extent of our movement. There still are a few more things to get. We have to get into the Abyss, so we will have to fight Hornet for that. That is the most pressing issue, I suppose, or at least the next thing that we're doing.
Yeah, so...
And we do have to get the rest of the nail eyes.
So, remember that first boss that we fought in, like the first boss that we fought properly? So she comes back, but harder, faster, with more health and more attacks, actually. This is, I want to say, the hardest boss fight in the category. What makes it so hard is just... It's the only boss fight where our DPS is expected for where we are in the game. And so the boss is scaled accordingly, and that just means that we have to be a lot more careful with this fight.
Yeah, normally with lever skips, I guess primarily just lever skips and routing, we can kind of have more damage than we're maybe intended to. But as you mentioned, you know, Shade Soul is kind of about the intended damage for this boss, and we don't have any nail upgrades. We completely avoid those in this run just for the sake of time.
Yep. So I do take that bench for safety. It loses maybe a couple seconds to take it, and just in case I die, which I don't expect to happen.
It certainly can. Hornet 2 definitely not an easy fight.
Yeah. So now we're heading into Kingdom's Edge. This is the area where we got Dash Slash, but now we're going to be seeing a very different part of it. This area is actually locked by Wings, access to the fight, unless you want to do an incredibly cursed skip, using one of those aspids. And seeing as we need to get Wings anyway, there's just no point in doing it.
Yeah, it makes all skills routing pretty fun too, because you kind of need to get all the abilities anyway, so you can have what you want to go to different places, more or less, if that makes sense.
So here we are in the fight. What I'm hoping for is using my Shade Soul to get double hits off of her and keep her in a stagger lock.
Yeah, she can definitely bully with these parries. You've seen 3 already. Those attacks are pretty good. It gives us a lot of time to hit on Hornet here. That's a really low dash, which is annoying to deal with. You get a stagger there. That'll lead to a double. Hornet's not too many hits every time after you stagger. Throwing her needle does reset that a little bit. It's weird how mechanic works.
I'm going to clear those.
Almost a double there. Unfortunately, no soul for a Shade Soul. Nice. She should stagger soon. Hello, Hornet. Please.
Nope.
Refuses. We actually stagger her there, then hit her out with the D-Dark, which is really unfortunate, because it will reset her stagger count.
Oh.
A little bit dangerous here at 1 HP.
It's
but
fine. We're fine. It wouldn't be a Hornet fight if we didn't end on 1 HP. So I got a little bit bullied by the RNG there. But I was able to get a bunch of doubles where I could.
Yeah, and fortunately we will be healed after this. You may be scared here thinking that rocks can fall on you. Generally they can, but the game actually is coded so that if you're at 1 HP, it will not hit you with a rock there.
But
you can see invisible Tsira.
Yes. So it looks like I missed my visual cue for when to stand up, unfortunately. I was hoping to get an early control, but...
Yeah, it's a pretty complicated process to do that. We're still at no HUD. But I promise Tsira is full HP.
I am at full HP, and it is a minor glitch. So... Although it may seem like not having a HUD is a major glitch, it is not.
It's back. Ball is low. Mods didn't notice.
Aren't you an SRC verifier?
I plead the 5th. This split was one of the first that I've seen min-max quite a bit. It's a really short split, actually, and it's just entirely movement. There's no combat here, there's little to no RNG here, even. But we are just going to get Cyclone Slash. There's not too much more to say. It's a little bit out of the way of everything, so at some
We're going
point we
to
just
speed past Elderbug and not give him time of day. I believe there's a clip on SpeedGaming from the aforementioned All Skills tournament where I lost a race by a second for talking to Elderbug.
Oh
so
no!
we don't do that anymore.
That's hilarious. I didn't realize that happened.
Yeah, that's... Ow! I tried to do fancy movement, it didn't work. It's fine.
Yeah, health definitely not an issue in this split. The more you run categories, the more you kind of know when you can relax. Like, damage like that in a Crystal Peak split would be really frustrating to have to deal with. Here, it really doesn't matter at all. The respawn's a bit annoying, but the health, not at all a problem.
Yep. Because, so here we are visiting Nailmaster Oro to pick up our second nail art. This one is a lot more useful in the category as a movement ability. Almost more than damage. Because using Cyclone Slash actually gives us faster fall speed and cancels out the hard fall when used correctly.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I considered Wings the last movement ability that we get, but there are times that you use Cyclone to go a little bit faster. It's kind of in between just normally falling down if you're falling a very short distance, or inventory dropping if you're falling a very long distance. There are times that you will want to Cyclone instead of either of those two.
Alright, so now we've got infected Crossroads because we picked up our Dreamer, making this area significantly more dangerous. But we have strats to go through without getting hit. Unfortunately, that room is complete RNG.
Yeah, it's RNG in the beginning of the game where you got hit, and it's RNG now. The game just hates you.
It's just trying to be fair. It can't do it one and not the other. The infected Vengeflies would get jealous.
So here we're going to fall through this room. This is a little bit of a combination of two strats of inventory dropping and then the constant fall going right. It is a nice fast strat, and we didn't get hit in that room, so that's all we really care about.
Oh, I did get hit here though. Thank you, Palm.
I said that room, not a curse, not my fault.
Disagree. So I am going to take the bench here just for extra safety, just in case I get messed over by RNG in the boss fight.
Yep, we are coming to Umu here. It's a pretty good idea to safety bench here. Even in the tournament, that was a pretty common one. But for a marathon, certainly. I don't know if you are going for
I will be going for the one cycle.
So this is possible to one cycle. Cycle being once Coral, our little bug friend, hits Umu, it will become vulnerable. And we can get, Umu has 300 health, we can get 300 damage off. It is very tight. We have to get doubles with the Shade Soul. We actually have to force Umu out of bounds to get those doubles. It's a really weird setup. Assuming that's the one you're going for, I guess there are a couple, so I shouldn't talk. So
I'm actually going to be going for an overplat strat.
Yes. Oh, I lied. I don't know what this is. Does it work?
And there we go. We got it. That is the one cycle.
I honestly have never seen that one cycle.
It is a really nice one in that it's slightly easier. Umu can decide to just be too low for that one, in which case I have to improvise. But Umu was incredibly kind, no extra attacks, no bad RNG, and yeah, we were able to get it.
Yeah, so that saves on the order of 20 seconds, not having to wait for more attacks. If Umu does end up getting back in his little jellyfish shell thing, whatever it's called, we would have to wait at least 2 more attacks, and then for Coral to do his whole animation again to kill him. So yeah, the last few splits of this run have gone very well. Hornet was a little sketchy, but it was definitely fast. Sea Peaks was good, Dreamnail was good, Broken Vessel was good. Like, this has been, what's the word? Good.
Thank you. So now that we've got all our abilities, the next couple splits are going to be incredibly movement based. They're actually some of my favorite parts of this run. So there I use my Cyclone Slash to be able to maneuver around while falling faster.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is another reason you could use Cyclone Slash over like inventory dropping. Nice wall cling there, and you can just see based on what Tsira's doing how that's so unlucky.
I have never seen that happen before.
How precise this movement can be, and how cool it can be, having to do all these different things.
So,
you know, like...
I just got some sort of weird glitch that I've never seen before. Sometimes enemies can be annoying and get in the way of your C dash when you should be able to just dash through them. What was weird about that one was the fact that I got hit out of my C dash, but I didn't take damage from it. I didn't pop the... Or I did take damage, but I didn't pop the balloon.
Yeah, it is weird that it didn't actually make the Uma attack you.
Yeah. So, there I did a little minor glitch called Airwalk, which gave me my dash back in midair. Just a little bit of fun movement. This whole split is in general just fun movement. Which...
Yeah, these next couple splits are like the reason a lot of people like to run all skills. The beginning is kind of similar to any percent. Soul Sanctum isn't all that fun, and then you have some boss fights that aren't terribly easy but aren't terribly hard either. But this kind of movement with C-Dash, Wings, Cyclone, this is a lot of the fun stuff that you don't see in many other categories, and it's just really satisfying to go through.
Yeah, so we're about to be heading into Green Path of Pain. It's called that because it is a fun little movement segment where we want to beat the cycle for these enemies and not get hit.
Oh, close.
As well as just maneuvering our C-Dash around the thorns.
Yeah, knowing the locations of these C-Dash too. You can see Tsira even goes... that's a nice wall jump, by the way. Tsira even goes underneath the platform or the wall that they were on, just so they'd C-Dash into the next room.
Alright, so now we are picking up our last nailer. This one is called Great Slash. Fun fact, Shio is canonically gay. If you fully upgrade your nail and visit Shio afterwards without killing the nailsmith, you get an achievement called Happy Couple, and it's just adorable.
Yep, that is actually one of the category extension meme runs. If you just want to see that, and you want to see it as fast as possible, that is a Hollow Knight run.
Yep. So next we're going to be heading into one of the most difficult areas in the game, actually, Queen's Gardens. Okay.
It's unfortunate.
That, I should have realized it was too high and it would hit me.
So 3 HP here is a bit scary. This is similar to what happened with Dive, where we will get a soul refill, but we won't be getting a health refill. Also, we do have a small arena coming up, which is kind of like peaks, where if you get out of cycle, it can be very dangerous. So we'll see how Tsira handles this.
First thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to heal up to full.
Yeah. Understandable.
Don't mind me. Yep, this is fine. Totally part of the run. It's RNG manipulation, that's all.
It must be.
Alright, so
there
now
is a
that...
nice little wall and C-Dash up to there. That is a hard C-Dash. Go ahead.
Now that we're at full health, I did not have the soul I needed.
Oh, there's a platform there! What the heck? That dive hit, like, definitely not the platform. The game felt bad that it kept hitting you earlier. Oh.
Okay, so, this was, by far not my best arena. Unfortunately, I am going to heal up, just to be on the safe side.
Yep, and similar to that, we can use that soul without too much consequence, because we do get it entirely refilled here as we get raised, our last base spell.
So all the base spells do refill our health like that. It's really quite nice. And now I've got enough soul to reasonably go through this next area. What makes this area so difficult is that some of the movement can be very complex and difficult with high, if you mess it up, you can lose a lot of health really quickly.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning, at the end of Queen's Gardens, we will have a little bit of Deep Nest, and it will be entirely in the dark, like you saw in Crystal Peaks, because this run never gets nighttime. Just to add a little bit more difficulty, especially for newer runs. Nice.
So, another thing that makes QG hard is this damage tank.
Nice.
Just, ow. Ugh.
Not that damage tank.
That one is suboptimal.
I honestly thought you were gonna hit that and respawn above, and this was just like new tech that I never knew about.
I wish. Okay. This is unfortunately not optimal. I'm going to heal up before this next room completely, just out of extra security, because this next room is really difficult movement that if I mess it up, can cost me a lot of health.
Yeah, this room again, maybe not cycle-based so much, but once you start falling, these Petras start to collapse on you. All of them have this attack where they throw that white disc that you're seeing there. Nicely, Tsira was able to make it through all of that. We are getting toward the dark room here. This, while dark, is not what we mean by dark room. I'm amazed that guy didn't walk into you. He considered it.
He was debating it, but he got scared of me.
The dream knell was too intimidating. Understandable.
So this is our first dark room. What was that?
There is a platform here, a couple spikes to dash over, and we're going to have 2 inventory drops on the left. You don't have to inventory in the dark, of course.
So I actually do a deep dive
okay.
just to avoid taking damage.
That makes a lot more sense, actually. A lot safer.
Yeah.
And yeah, Leech, the timer does pause during transitions. It's what we call loadless, so it makes it fair no matter what PC you're running on. Different PCs will handle this game differently, so it might take longer or shorter to load, and we don't want that to be a difference. An annoying spider there getting spit at, but Tsira just taking it, and then going to the end of this room. This is our last dark room, and we have very little to worry about for the rest of the split. Nice jumps. Those are deceptively difficult.
Yeah, so we do have enough soul to go through Beast Den now safely, or at least the area that we do.
Yep, C-dash plus wings. I think just claw plus wings. I don't remember what exactly it is, but definitely wings. Makes this a much nicer area to go through.
Well, I got bullied.
Unfortunately, yeah, we didn't hit all of the dive because he's a bully.
He backed out of my attack. We did get through okay, though.
Yep, this is going to be our last streamer, Hera. If you are wondering, I don't know if we've completely explained, but if you played Hollow Knight, you know. We do have to collect these dreamers, these 3 dreamers, to actually fight the final boss, the Hollow Knight, or THK.
Palm, do you want to check on our Save Kill Myla, donation status?
Sure. I think it was kind of a poll to chat type of thing. I don't think we have an official donation set up with SpeedGaming here.
Okay.
So I guess if you are in the chat and you would like to kill Myla, or you are in the chat and you would like to save Myla, let us know. And I guess, are you just doing majority?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
That bench was pointless and I should not have taken it.
Well, now you're at full health again. After you were already at full health.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So here we'll hopefully see a look down. You can see Tsira finishes interacting with the toll, looks
there
down.
There we go.
So very nice.
Alright, so now we are going to be picking up our last 2 abilities. These are both in the Abyss. One of which before it is an incredibly difficult segment called Sibling Climb, and the other one there's an incredibly difficult segment after it called Abyss Climb. So hopefully I'll be able to show off both of those to you in all their glory.
Yep, this is the last area we will go to. The reason we're saying the incentive, at least before the final boss. So only a couple more skills to get. There are a couple down here. There is Shade Cloak and nice timing. There's Shade Cloak and Abyss Shriek that we will be getting while we're in the Abyss. A couple nice inventory drops here.
So, sibling climb will be coming up. What makes the siblings so dangerous is that their spawn locations, while they are consistent, their drift is not, so they won't necessarily be in the same places every time. They each do 2 damage, and they don't give you soul to heal up with.
Yeah, you can see the soul meter not going up, unfortunately. That little wings under the platform. The soul meter not going up every time Tsira is
under
pogoing
plat?
this guy. Yeah. Under plat 3.
Oh.
But we will...
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
2 damage is not the end of the world there, of course. And yeah, good climb.
Okay, so now we're going to be picking up our Shade Soul. Not Shade Soul, we picked that up ages ago. Our Shade Cloak. So there is a little bit of quit out tech here. As soon as my feet touch the basin and I hear that noise, I quit out and it hard saves me over here. And I don't have to go through the animation. I can also do a Dream Nail early control to be able to start sooner.
It does save a little bit of time, and it's something we hadn't talked about too much. Hard saves are similar to when we sit at a bench, it will automatically save the game. The game will just save itself sometimes. Those times, this run at least, being Hornet 2, Desolate Dive, both the reasons that we have to actually walk out of those areas, and of course this Shade Cloak. Just a little bit more movement. We do have to unfortunately go all the way from the right to the left of the Abyss, but Tsira knows these rooms, and there's a lot of specific speed dashes you can do to save a lot of time over just dashing this whole way.
Oh yeah. So I kill that guy for soul as well as to get him out of my way for the C-dash back.
Yeah, we get into this final room.
So this is...
go up here. Go ahead.
This is the last ability of Hollow Knight. This is the Abyss Shriek, the upgraded version of our Upward spell, which you've yet to see, actually.
I'm sure they'll never see it, and it will never be used against THK.
Oh yeah, no. So this one is our most powerful spell. It also has a huge hitbox, which is all upwards. So we have to get really close to the final boss in order to use it. But next up you'll be seeing Abyss Climb. Hopefully I'll be able to do it justice.
Yep, this is easily the most movement heavy part of the game. There's a lot of pogos and wings and different routes you can take. So far, so good.
Oh, there we go.
Why did I say anything? This was on me.
Yep,
we will be resetting the timers. We will be resetting the timers for these Crossroads. This is also a pretty popular IL or individual level that people will do. There are quite a few runs on the leaderboard for just this room, going from bottom to top. This is nice, nicely done on those spike pogos. It is hard because they're kind of overhanging, they're like above you, so it's harder than most just pogoing up. The rest of this not too bad. It's dodging that call, and we are at the top. And we are.
A little bit of comms Chris just at the end there, but we brought it back. There's a reason it's everyone's, well, not everyone's favorite, but there's a reason that it's so well liked in our community, just because it's kind of the final movement segment of the run, which is super movement heavy. It's where you put all of the skills together in a really fun segment.
Yeah, it is very movement heavy. It's very precise too. It's satisfying to do. It's satisfying to watch too, to be honest.
Yeah. So I'm gonna heal up before I beat the final boss here. Do I head down to Myla?
No, we are saving Myla.
We're saving Myla?
Well, we're not killing, I suppose. You can go down there if you really want to and just observe.
Nah, it's good. So, what I did here is a little, visual glitch called, Helicopter Night. This is also a minor glitch, and it loses time, so people have no issue with runs on the board having it. But yeah, so we're now heading into the final boss. Let's see how this goes. I will be using my Abyss Shriek pretty much exclusively during this fight. But because the hitbox is all above me, I need to get really close to the boss in order to use it optimally.
Yep, after breaking these chains, we'll see THK fall down, and we can do a ton of damage with these shrieks if he's nice enough to us. So you'll see Tsira collecting soul, because of course we do need soul to use the shriek, and then every time he's standing still, really good shriek so far. No mean dash attacks, and we're already at the first scream. That parry can be annoying, but we actually dodge it and still get all the damage the Abyss Shriek off, so really good fight so far.
Alright, and we are in the self-stab phase. This kind of marks the halfway point of the fight.
Oh, this is a pretty good attack for Shriek too. It's a little bit harder to collect soul, unfortunately he does 5 full hops there. We are at the final scream, almost a match swing skip. These are pretty hard to pull off. We are just about done with this fight. A couple more shrieks and only one.
And there we go. That's a GG. The timer will stop as soon as I'm done slurping up THK.
Yeah, that was a good run.
Thank you.
I don't have the timer on it. This is not fair. Let us check if it's the time. 50. This is probably a sub hour?
59:44, just barely a sub-hour time, but we take
fun.
those. So I hope you all enjoyed the showcase of Hollow Knight All Skills. If you're interested in checking out the game and the speed game, feel free to join the Hollow Knight speedrunning Discord. We have an absolutely lovely community. All Skills was actually my first speed game ever, and my first category I ever ran. It is super beginner friendly and a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So thank you, Palm, for commentating for me today.
Thanks for doing the run. Thanks everyone for watching. That's probably all I got.
Yeah, alright. Have a lovely day, chat. Thank you for having us.